28 years with the Corp/Corp. Ordained 40 years. He's a Presbyterian minister. Catholics don't get upset. I hear it every Monday night. Again, he is a fellow Staten Islander. He's the South Shore though, right? That's south or north?
You're right.
I'm north, he's south. I can't read my own handwriting. He's got a beautiful wife who's sitting right next to him, Jacqueline, who cooks up with us on Monday nights because we refuse to let Matt go at the appropriate time. Thanks, Jacqueline. And he's got 5 grandchildren. Matt, come on up. Retired Colonel Chaplain, Hugh McKenzie.
These can't be all Tea Party people. I thought you were out of business.
Thank you, Ken.
There we go. Okay. I'm here tonight to tell you actually 2 stories, but they both have to deal with your chaplain corps, and that would include all 3 services plus the Coast Guard. And I think you need to know what's going on, and has been going on for the last probably 30 years. So let me tell you 2 stories, 2 incidents of my first days in the Army Reserves. As it happens, you take the commission, but you don't always go to basic training immediately. And if you're a reservist, you might just end up going to what we call a weekend drill before you go to basic training, which means you go knowing absolutely nothing. I didn't even know how to tie my boots or who to salute or anything, which my commanding officer picked up immediately. And he remanded me through the first sergeant to the most senior member of our unit, which was a transportation control unit down in Trenton. And his name was Doc, and he was the chief warrant officer, 4th. He had lied about his age, and I'll tell you a little bit about him. He lied about his age, and he enlisted in the Marine Corps so he could get into World War II when he was 15 and a half. He was an orphan, and he had some false papers, and he was a big kid, and he saw action in the Pacific, and then he came home and he switched to the right side of the house, the Army. Only kidding, former Marines. And saw action in just about every conflict you could name, including Korea, including Vietnam, including the Berlin airlift, and on and on. So he knew what he was talking about. So he worked me through the day. He gave me my chaplain's manual. He told me who to salute, who to avoid, how to dress. And then at the end of the day, he said a very strange and troubling thing to me. He said, "Chaplain, I hope you make retirement." And I said, "What, Chief, I screwed up already?" He said, "No, I predict that there will be no chaplain corps 20 to 30 years out." And I said, "Why would you say that? It's my first day. I've been commissioned 2 weeks. And he's saying, I'm not going to make retirement. Not that I was thinking about it. And he said, "No, listen to me very carefully." He said, "The armed forces of the United States, even with this voluntary business, reflect the culture at large. And the culture at large is going away from religion." He said, "I'm not a religious person myself." But he says, "I can see the writing on the wall. This society is moving farther and ever away from God." And he said, "That will be reflected in your job eventually." So 3 months later, I'm at dear old Fort Monmouth, first day of basic training. The haircut was interesting. At least I knew how to tie my boots, but it was more or less of a gentleman's first day, although the drill instructors were eyeing this up like a slab of meat, seeing who was going to make it and who wasn't out of these 25 chaplain candidates. But there was a tension in the air, an excitement at the chaplain's headquarters. And they said, "You people have come at a historic day, because the man who has saved the United States Army Chaplain Corps is here today." I said, "Oh, really?" And so after lunch, we were ushered into the auditorium, all 30 of us, with the staff, and chaplain, colonel, promotable, which means he retired as a general, Drayton, a rabbi, was there to tell us how he had saved the chaplain corps. Now, let me give you a little background on what happened. 3 years previous to that, the Anti-Christian Litigation Union, you know what that is, the ACLU, had brought suit to the federal government in the most liberal federal district court that they could find, saying that the chaplain corps had to go away because it was a violation of separation of church and state. You've heard it all before. The disestablishment clause, of course, has nothing to do with sectarianism or religion, for that matter. But we don't have to go there this evening. So I'm sitting there thinking, wow, this is great that the senior guy back at my unit says I'm not going to make retirement, and now they're saying they just made it by the skin of their teeth. So the ACLU brought suit. And what had happened was the chaplain corps kept it in-house, and there just happens among 3,500 chaplains, there was a reservist who was also a very good lawyer. They gave the job of defending the existence of the chaplain corps to him. And in he went. Now, his premise was simple. The chaplain corps predated the foundation of the country, and it did. The chaplain corps has a right to exist because it's established, it's traditional, and because it's established and it's traditional, the court should grandfather the chaplain corps, never even addressing the fact of the ACLU's suit. Well, the Pentagon is watching closely, of course, and they didn't like the way the good chaplain was running things. So they shopped around for another lawyer, and they came up with Chaplain Colonel Drayton, who was not only a secular lawyer, but a renowned Talmudic scholar. Sharp brain. He changed the whole premise of the argument by the way they won it. And here's what he did. He said, forget about English common law, forget about precedent, forget about grandfathering. The chaplain corps of the military provide the ability for the individual soldiers to have a free exercise of religion. And on that basis alone, they should be allowed to exist and prosper. Well, he won the case, and hence the star. Well, sitting next to me in the second row, I don't know how I got so up close. We Presbyterians like to sit way in the back. But I was in the second row, and I was sitting with my roommate, or my battle buddy, who was going to be my close friend for the next 3 or 4 months. And his name was Slade. And chaplain candidate Slade was a little different. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Those of you who are from the Vietnam area might have heard of a special unit called LRPS, Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol. I don't know if you have or not. But their motto was, we eat Green Berets for breakfast. And they did. They were tough. They were dropped into an area to snoop and poop, as they say, to get prisoners and then to come out at the decided place. And he was in North Vietnam, he was in Cambodia and Laos, and that's what they did. These people were Green Berets plus. They would be a combination of Delta Force today and SEAL Team 6. They were that good. Here's my roommate. Okay, he's looking at this kid who doesn't even know how to tie his tie, so to speak. But we did fairly well together. But Slade was absolutely fearless. So he's listening to this presentation, and I look at him. Do you ever have this experience where you're sitting next to someone or with someone, and you have the same thought at the same time, and you know it? I don't know if you've had it, but I looked at him, and we had the same thought at the same time. So, but I'm not going to say anything. Heck, I've been told that the chaplain corps is going out of business. I'd like to make at least a few years to pay off the college fund, right? So I don't say anything, but old Slade, who later told me when you look the tiger in the eye, it puts everything else in perspective. He got up when there was questions and looked at the colonel and said, Chaplain, this is a Pyrrhic victory. You won a battle, but you lost the war. Well, of course, the chaplain staff, all colonels and all, they're all fluttered now that this chaplain candidate would challenge the great Chaplain Drayton. But here's what he said to follow on. He said, by making the chaplain corps a utility, he said there will come a day when the Army and the Pentagon comes up with a way of providing coverage cheaper and better, number one. Number two, and he turned to the rest of us, and there were some fundamentalist folks in the region. He turned to them and he said, what happens when some of these people are asked to do something that is against their conscience? Meaning, what happens when a Satanist comes up to you? What happens when you name it, and asks for coverage? What are they going to do? Are they going to go against their conscience? Because after all, now they're providing a service, and you have insisted that they're going to provide that service to everybody. What are they going to do? He says, I know what I'm going to do, but what are they going to do? And he sat down, silence in the room. And Chaplain Drayton said, never happened. Don't worry about it. If they don't get into this book of recognized denominations, and he held it up, it'll never be an issue. Really. My friend Slade was right, wasn't he? Fast forward 20 years. The Air Force Academy. Any Air Force people here? I know Vern is. Okay? Fast forward. This is in the late 90s, the early 2000s. Have you heard about what happened at the Air Force Academy? A kid of no particular denomination, comes from an atheistic, agnostic background, goes there as a cadet, he writes home, Mom, I've been saved, I'm a Christian now. Mom gets on the horn and does some investigation and finds out that the chaplain coverage at the academy was very much evangelical, very much Protestant, very much aligned with Campus Crusade with Christ, if you're familiar with them. She talks to her congressperson. The congressperson talks to the senator. The senator talks to the governor. The governor talks to the Pentagon. And now, all of those people, all the chaplains have been reassigned, and they've all been, well, demoted more or less. You see, what happened was, I didn't tell you what happened later on that first day. After we had our presentation, the commandant of the chaplain corps got up and said, the Army is here to do one thing, and that is kill people and break things in defense of this country. If you can't do that, then you don't belong here. But I also want you to know that you are never, ever to proselytize. And he looked at my friend Slade. Do you hear what's going on here? This is 30 years old. Fast forward a few more years. Roman Catholics here? Okay, the archdiocese, the military archdiocese, has a letter that they want to send out according to don't ask, don't tell. They want this letter read in the pulpit in all the Catholic chapels throughout the United States Army. Guess what happened? The Pentagon said, no, you are not to read that. That is too politically charged. Now that is upsetting a precedent that has stood as long as the chaplain corps. When you get in that pulpit, nobody can tell you what to say or what not to say. But the Pentagon interjected themselves and forbade the Roman Catholic chaplains, although they had received a legal order from their archdiocese, they were forbidden to do it. Guess what happened? They did it anyway. God bless them. Fast forward another 10 years. I don't know what's going to happen. If my friend Chief Warrant Officer 4 was still alive, Doc Doherty, I would say, Doc, you were right, but you were about 15 to 20 years off. I'm telling you, I can foresee a day when the ACLU, because it reflects a certain portion of the population and this nation, open the door and say, chaplains, get out.
It's not going to happen. Amen.
Okay.
Let them fight the war.
Don't ask, don't tell. That was a perfect solution, wasn't it?
But we know a lot more.
What happens when the homosexual couple goes to their post-chapel and they're both in the military? By the way, now homosexual couples now have veterans' rights. spousal veterans' rights. What happens when they go to the chapel, post-chapel, and say, okay, chaplain, we want to get married? What's going to happen? You see, it's death by 1,000 cuts. The thing is drifting so far into radical secularism. And I always say it's evangelical atheism. Because if you'll notice, the atheists are getting more in your face, more and more and more. I predict a day when there won't be any chaplain corps, and this nation will suffer for it. Because I'll tell you, the proud history of all the chaplain corps. Don't forget, it's the second branch formed. First there was the infantry. Hua? Any grunts here? Okay. The second branch, or the second corps, founded by George Washington himself, and he hired the first few chaplains out of his own pocket, was the chaplain corps. Actually predates the formation of this country. There will come a day when we're no longer welcome. And that would be sad.
Can we fight it?
On that negative note, I'll take some questions.
Can we fight that? Can we fight it?
It's not to the point yet where we can really do anything, but I think you ought. What we're doing tonight is just making you aware of the situation. Start reading the newspapers. Read, what's Rush Limbaugh's brother's name? David Limbaugh's book, Persecution. If you haven't gotten it, read it. Persecution by David Limbaugh. And you'll see that it's already happening. Okay, I was told when I first came in not to pray in the name of Jesus Christ. And that was 30 years ago. My prayers, public prayers, would always have to be generic. Of course, I did listen to that. I made sure my commander was behind me before I did it. So the seed has been planted, and it's being watered by radical secularism. Yes, sir.
May I come up and read something?
Please.
You all remember me? I spoke to you a couple of months ago.
Yes.
I'm a major in the United States Air Force Auxiliary. 2 months ago I was told I couldn't use the word Jesus Christ. I just got this about 2 days ago. From Jay Sokolow. Does everyone know Jay Sokolow?
Yes.
The ACLJ. American Center for the Law and Justice. It is deeply disturbing that a federal district court in Wisconsin had issued a decision declaring the National Day of Service or prayer unconstitutional. It is deeply disturbing that prayer is under attack on various fronts in this country. A federal district court in Wisconsin had issued a decision declaring the National Day of Prayer unconstitutional. Military chaplains have been told they shall not pray in Jesus' name. These movements run counter to well-established legal precedents and time-honored traditions. Public prayer in no way violates the Constitution. Rather, it reflects our nation's rich history. Therefore, I stand with the American Center for Law and Justice as they pursue all necessary legislations routes in order to protect and defend the National Day of Prayer and chaplains' right to pray in Jesus' name.
Hallelujah.
Now, we can stand on a corner and preach if we want to. We can stand on a corner and give out tracts. Nobody can stop us. School teachers can have Bibles on their desks as long as they have other books. Kids can go to school in the morning before school starts and go around the flagpole. They can have their own organizations in church. They can use the public facilities where they can talk and say there's going to be a meeting at 3 o'clock. They have all these rights, and they can have a Bible study in school after school. So, we're not lost yet, and A.J. Sokolow has been before the Supreme Court 12 times, and he never lost.
Yeah.
So just keep praying for him.
So you see, I'm not exaggerating.
Matt, can you segue into your course coming up into
There's no way to segue into that. I'll just say it. First, remind me, are there any other questions?
We're at one back here. Over here.
Where? Ma'am?
when you look at our present administration, how much damage do you think they're doing in regard to what the other administrations have done, in regard to religion?
It's not always specifics, although in this case it is specifics. Don't forget, this administration did away with don't ask, don't tell. And by the way, the military was very comfortable with that. Very comfortable. We could deal with it because a person's sex life heretofore was their business. Okay? So this administration has taken some executive actions, and that whole issue is going to have to be addressed someday, the extent of executive order. But then we can't get that tonight. But but you know what it is? It's Maryland, right?
That's correct, yes.
What it is a tone. When the president of the administration declined to participate in the National Day of Prayer, which happened, and not posting it.
Correct.
When such atrocities, as far as I'm concerned, are that there's certain things you can't say at a national cemetery now.
Like what?
Like to pray in Jesus' name.
Jesus' name.
At least that's the way it is in Arlington. But what I'm saying is, it's from the top down. The administration, and you can't blame I know, this might get me stoned. You can't blame everything on Obama. Okay? But
Why not?
I knew that would get a rise out of you. But the fact of the matter is, the bully pulpit of the presidency and the tone that is set percolates down into the military. He is, after all, the commander-in-chief. And his attitude towards religion is going to be picked up. Don't forget, the military is extremely sensitive to cultural trends. It has to be. And in some ways very good. For example, in 1948, okay, Harry Truman desegregated the Army, which, by the way, Woodrow Wilson had put into effect in his administration. The Army was integrating before then, but Wilson, being a supreme racist,
Progressive move.
progressive racist, okay, put his foot down. Harry Truman, God bless him, ordered the military to desegregate. And overnight, we had to deal with it. And it worked, yeah, it worked very well. So sometimes it's good. But other times, you got to salute the flag and march on. But what happens in a volunteer force is, you go away. I can't do this. I won't have this, etc., so forth. So you're right. I think through action and through the tone he sets, I think, you know, and now the budget is clicking in. Things are not good in the old chaplain corps or the Army to be. Yeah.
How can we explain the ambivalence of people in the government having to swear in to their office? I mean, it's ludicrous.
It'll be dropped too.
And that will be dropped eventually, but you're right. Well, on God we, God we trust is on your coinage and whatever. I don't get it, but it's progressive. It's a disease.
Who is behind it?
Who is behind it? I don't know.
Put everyone in place.
I don't know. Yes, ma'am.
I've heard that the higher officers in the services are being let go, the ones that are more in tune with our thinking.
Yeah, the general. There was a 2 or 3 star general. He's still with us. Meaning he's no longer on active duty. He was the head of the Special Forces, and I can't think of his name right now. He was disinvited to speak at West Point, his alma mater, by the way, because of his political views. Franklin Graham was disinvited. I mean, it's getting active now. It's getting more active. So, first of all, you got to pray. Second of all, you've got to be supportive of people like Sokolov, and Levin's on the case now too. So please be aware, be informed. There's so many people out there who are just dumb to what's going on, and they assume because there's always been a presence of religion in the government that it will continue. It's not guaranteed.
Who is behind it? Who's behind the scenes triggering all of this kind of activity?
Well, his initials are S, ends with an N. Satan. Satan.
Exactly.
There's resident,
Or slash George Soros.
well, okay. If there are no more yes.
You and I both know, and the rest of the people in here, there are no atheists in Foxhole.
Yes.
No, that's true. That's true.
When the
But,
heavy stuff comes in, you start praying.
amen. And there's always been a chaplain there to,
Always.
if you see the Band of Brothers movie, you'll see that crazy Irish priest out in the middle of the public square there. Remember that scene where there's a piano and everything and everybody's getting shot and he's out there administering to his troops? That's the best that the chaplain corps has to offer and has offered for over 200 years. Okay, there's no segue to it, but, huh?
One more here.
Where?
This guy. Just raise your hand up.
Yes, one more.
In watching the TV and the different speakers that come up on different shows, there has been reference to 100 years of Marxism through the ACLU.
Right.
I've also heard, and I'm asking you to comment on it if you can. I've also heard that back in 1945, thereabouts, one of the bureau chiefs in Europe was a card-carrying communist. This is a news station back then.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that it's filtered upward, and now you have a lot of it, including the ACLU, as Marxist views. You want to comment on those that you know?
You need to read 2 books, just 2 books, to understand where the progressive are coming from, or what happened. You know, if you don't know where you've been, you're never going to get to where you're going. It's that simple. The Black Book of Communism, it could be, that title's not correct, totally correct. I think it's the Black Book of the Soviet Union. Was a book that was endorsed by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Read about how communism Marxism takes over a culture and a society. Don't forget, the Russian Orthodox Church is one of the oldest churches in the world, and it lost all influence in the span of 5 years, maybe 10 years. Read the Black Book of Communism. Get another book called The Venona Project to see how our government, I mean, I don't know how you feel about Joe McCarthy, but he was about 70% right. If you read the Venona Project, which is the transcripts of a long FBI surveillance of the Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C. So you need to see where the players were, how they worked, and how they are working today, because our current president, to quote Levin and, I forget his name right now, is a red diaper baby. Well, Savage among others. And that's his milieu. That's how he was brought up. And there's a whole generation, particularly in academia. Where do you think all the hippy-dippies went after the Vietnam War? They went mostly into academia, and unfortunately we got a good dose of them in the church. They didn't go away. They just took the long march.
Some of them went into politics.
Some of them went into politics too. Okay.
Is Obama a Christian or Muslim?
I don't know.
I've seen him make a speech claiming he is a Muslim.
I don't know. Okay. Okay. My time's up. I have to run, but let me invite you to a special thing that we do down in Long Branch every Monday night, starting on the 16th of this month. A small group of about 15 to 20. If everybody shows up, there'd be 20 there. Joellen's one. Carol and Tony over there, and Kathy and Mary, and all. They can tell you. And Vern back there. Anyway, we do it on a semester basis, and we cover a book, or we have a topic, and we get ourselves so riled up that nobody sleeps Monday nights. But we're starting, and I want you to listen to this too. I'm inviting you, but let's keep this in the family, and I'll show you why. We're going to be studying radical Islam. Okay? And I don't want a fatwa on my church. Okay? My church didn't sign up for that. In fact, my church, the people are more liberal than I am politically, not religiously. So you're more than welcome to come. 7 o'clock every Monday night, starting on the 16th. My lovely wife makes great homemade desserts. Yeah, so anyway. But it's strong coffee. It's an open format, but we are going to be studying Robert Spencer's book on Islam called The Politically Incorrect Book of Islam. It's available on Islam and the Crusades, by the way. We have so much material, I don't know if we're going to be able to cover it in one semester. But you're more than welcome to come. And if you're going to invite somebody, make sure you know them. Okay? So that's 167 Cedar Avenue, the First Presbyterian Church of Long Branch. It's right down from the university on the main drag there. It's 2 blocks up from the ocean. 167 Cedar Avenue, Long Branch, First Presbyterian Church of Long Branch. I don't know why there's a first, there's no second, but First Presbyterian Church. Okay, thank you. You've been lovely. I better run.
Okay, you all just got a taste of what we experience every Monday night with you, Mackenzie, or as we lovingly call him, Mac. And it's no lie. The class is from 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock, Mac? 8:30. Okay. It's supposed to end at 8, but we're like, wait, Mac, one more thing. Wait, Mac, one question. Wait, Mac. And he's like, my wife is waiting for me. We never want to let him go. And I promise you, if you come, you're going to be the one. Wait, Mac, one more question. Thanks, Mac.
Thank you.
Okay, did everybody get to sign the letter to Congressman Chris Smith? Okay, we still have, where is it? Did somebody take it and, okay. You never know. We're gonna pass around the bucket. We're gonna take a little break. Jason's going to come up and tell us about his newest get-together. And by the way, I hope some of you were able to make those two the movie, but Jason has done an outstanding job in trying to promote more togetherness. So thanks, Jason. But while the bucket's going around, Jason, come on up.
Do the ticket first. Oh. Well, let Matt pick the ticket. Yeah, Matt, come here.
Dan, let him pick the ticket. Mac, you're gonna pick the ticket.
You trust me?
Yes.
You trust me?
No.
But you gotta read the number because I don't have my license out there.
All right. The number is, for a surprise gift, 278180. Who's got it?
I couldn't have it.
Oh, now wait a minute.
Oh my God!
I had nothing to do with this, honest.
Right.
I'm getting out of here.
And guess what the secret gift is? The newest Mark Levin book. But you know what? You know what? Because I love you all, I'll read it and then I'll pass it along. So everybody gets a shot at it. Thanks, group. I swear, I'll pass it around. Matt, thanks. Okay. Jason, come on up.
Okay, so we had, unfortunately, due to some scheduling issues with the first movie, we only had one tea partier that did come up, but hopefully that we tried to do it again for the following week with the Avengers on the 29th, I think, but Mother Nature changed those plans and they had to cancel it. So it was a good time with Jaws. Unfortunately, the second movie had to be canceled, but there's always next year. So one of the other things that I decided to do, and then when I took a poll, when I first took this position, people said they wanted to start a bowling league, and I thought that would be really fun to do. Just very friendly, very competitive kind of thing between us. On each table, I put a flyer, just some information on it. It's going to be every Thursday. That's the only time that they had available for us. It's at 6:30 p.m. at Howell Lane. It's on Route 9 in Howell, New Jersey. There are going to be 6 sessions, and the optimal way would have been 6 weeks, but it would be The Thursdays where our meetings would fall, those would actually not be bowling nights. Those would be our regular meeting Thursdays, and those bowling nights would just be tacked on at the end. I have not yet decided on a beginning date, but what I'm going to do is I have a clipboard with sign-in information. We're going to do 3 to 4 people per team. So if you know of anybody that you want to do it with, sign themselves up, or however you want to do it, talk to some people here in the group. I'm going to pass this along. It's going to be $13.25 per bowler per week, and that includes 3 games and your shoe rental. And again, that's 3 to 4 bowlers per lane. My phone number's on the flyer if you want to take it down and just get back to me later. Be sure to put your phone number and your email if you sign up and you're interested. Like I said, the date is yet to be determined as to when we start. So once I find out when that start date is, anybody that signs up, I'm going to be getting the information out to them ASAP. So if I can get this out to everybody, and if you can just get this moved along quickly so I can get this back in my hand, and hopefully maybe stop over tonight and see what I can get done and getting something reserved for us. So thank you.
Okay, folks, a few more things. As you all know, or some of you know, one of our founding members, Jimmy Lewis, his mother did pass away. Dan's going to send out a blast to give you all the information pertaining to the funeral. I think the wake and the funeral are one day, right, Dan?
Tomorrow. Yes, I have it.
Tomorrow or Saturday?
Saturday.
Saturday, yeah. So we'll be blasting that out. Please, if you can attend, do so as a Tea Party member, but if not, keep Jimmy and his family in your prayers, please. Now, September 10th, defund Obamacare down in D.C. It took a lot of effort, but we got a bus.
Yes.
However, it's only verbal. I don't have it in writing yet, and I'm the type I like things in writing. But we have a bus. We have to be at the bus stop, the mile marker 100, no later than 5 o'clock. They're picking us up at 5:30. And then we're going to go down to Little Egg Harbor and pick up another group. Okay, so that's, but we're going to be leaving DC at 4 o'clock. We'll get home early. Here's the scoop, folks. When they send me the email, we're going to blast it out. You're going to register and pay online. No money comes through anybody. It's going to be register and pay online. So it really is going to be first come, first serve. And there's only 40 seats. Now at the last rally, 2 guys showed up and said, if their seats are empty, can we tag along? And they were able to do that. So if you don't get in, that's my only suggestion, is that you come to the mile marker 100, where we always meet, which is at the bottom, folks. It's not up where the restaurants are. It's at the bottom. Yes, Dan?
Park at the bottom, the bus will be up the hill.
That's the confusion.
Okay.
We park at the bottom and the bus is picking us up at the bottom. Okay? All right, everybody? But you need to, as soon as that blast goes out, you need to sign up and pay so that you get a seat.
So is it going to be the 15 or the 25?
There will be $25, and that's why, you know, it kept going back and forth, but we did get that bus. It will be $25.
Right, and when we sign up, we're going to still charge that fee.
What fee?
They charged last time for the bus pass, the additional fee.
No.
Yes, I did.
What additional fee?
It was almost $3.
How much?
On the event, where we go.
It's $25.
Yeah, I pay $25 plus the fee.
What fee?
No, there wasn't a fee, they collected a tip.
This was on where I signed up. It was a fee, $2 and change.
I'll talk to Amy about that. Okay. All right. So does everybody have it? As soon as the blast goes out, sign up and pay online. No money is going through the group here. One more time. You're going to get a blast from East Jersey Tea Party to sign up and pay online for the September 10th Defund Obamacare rally. Nothing gets done outside that computer. I'm not gonna take any names. I'm not gonna collect any money. Okay? Okay, are any of Mayor Lonigan's people here yet?
They're here, they're outside.
Oh,
I'm gonna take a, he's not here. You wanna take 5?
we'll take 5, we'll pass the bucket around. By the way, don't move anybody. Don't move. Look around. We got a packed house this month. Woohoo! Keep it going, folks. Keep it going. Take a break now. If you're not on the email list, or you're not certain you're on the email list, see Denise during the break and after the break. Oh, yeah, come, we got somebody who wants to have us assist and aid and abet on getting his candidate selected.
Excuse me, I have no, I'm bad.
Hey folks, we got Teddy from Belmar.
Teddy from Belmar. Hey folks. All right, a show of hands. How many here have their ancestors from Italy? How many from Naples? All right, well, we're going to count on the Italian Americans here. This Saturday and this Sunday, Belmar is having a San Gennaro festival. So St. Gennaro is the patron saint of Naples, and we can all kind of like, hey, he's a great guy, all right? So right after the procession with the statue of St. Gennaro, which is traditional, goes down Main Street in Belmar, it will end up at a booth for Tom Burke and Dave Schneck for council. Yeah. So, give you a little background. We have progressivism on steroids in Belmar. And we have a great Republican councilman by the name of Jim Beam, who is fearlessly holding up our conservative principles of limited government and individual freedoms, and he is doing a great job. But we have 3 other council people and a mayor who have the majority vote. How good is that? Not good. Now, let's fast forward. We have an election, and we have a great libertarian named Dave Schneck, who has a blog. He's been blogging for 20 years. He has more than 20,000 photos of him with libertarian dignitaries that we all know and love. All right? So, and we have a great conservative Republican by the name of Tom Burke. And for the first time in Belmar in 25 years, we have a chance to win. So in fact, he even mentioned our next speaker, Mr. Lonigan, this week, our mayor, the progressive. And he berated the 500 voters that sent a petition to the mayor to put the new boardwalk pavilions on the ballot, and the mayor went, no way. And the mayor said to the Star-Ledger this week that this small group of extremists has Lonigan thinking. So I would like to invite all of you, I know the email did go out, but seriously, San Gennaro is a great festival. There's a lot of Italian food. You bring the kids, the grandkids. They can even ride on a camel. We have a movie at night. It's a real festival. And help our candidates. Come and show your support for Tom Burke.
How do we get to your, where's your booth?
We don't know, but it's only 2 blocks long, this festival. All right, so if you know Belmar, there's Main Street. We're going to be, if you buy the train station is 10th Avenue. That's the marina entrance and the train station. 10th to 12th is the San Gennaro Festival. 10 to 12. So you'll find us. It's only 2 blocks. And the festival runs from 11 a.m. on Saturday to 10 p.m. in the evening, and on Sunday it's from 12 to 6. And we'd love to have you support. Come and help our candidates, hand out literature for our candidates, for Steve Lonigan, just have a presence, and let's show this mayor what's so. Thank you.
Let's try to be supportive of Teddy and our conservative candidates. Even if you only go for an hour, go. Wear your Tea Party shirts, wear a big smile, and try to get as many people as you know some pamphlets on those two candidates and on Mayor Lonigan. Is Mayor Lonigan here yet? Will somebody tell him he's allowed to come in here?
Joellen, just let people know if they go, take business cards with them to recruit.
I don't know if they have it.
If they can get them.
If you have Tea Party cards with you when you go, please bring them and pass them out and try to recruit new members. I love the turnout tonight, but we need to keep this turnout growing. We need to keep the crowd growing.
Where are the cards?
We have them up front
We have
there,
some.
all over, we got.
Did anybody pass the bucket around yet?
This is it?
Okay. Steve, Steve's here. Steve, you want to give us a quick update on our treasurer's report, please?
You may need it.
Are we taking a break or no?
Yeah, we're taking a break. Can we let Steve do
Right
this?
now?
Well, let's see, can Andy get me some? I'm gonna go to the.
We gotta stand up higher. America's Most Wanted.
Stop hogging the camera, would you? Okay, quick update on the treasurer's report. At this point, we are switching banks. So this month, we will be moving out of Bank of America over to Oceans First. And our combined bank accounts between the two accounts, once they're all merged, will be $1,123.54. That does not conclude tonight. Thanks.
John's going to come up. He has some really bad news to tell us, so pay attention. Real quick, John. Real quick.
We don't do bad news. It's bad news.
When I heard that Congressman Rangel, referred to us as
Hold the microphone farther away.
Without further ado, Mayor Lonigan.
Woo, thank you. Wow, you guys made my day. I will tell you, no, that reception gives me the energy and the motivation I need to work even harder down the last 40 days. And you're the reason New Jersey's not going to only elect the first Republican conservative senator in 41 years, but we're going to set the tone for the conservative Republican takeover of the U.S. Senate in 2014. And you know what? We are going to reignite the Tea Party movement across this entire country. Because this election, ladies and gentlemen, this election on October 16th is an all-out referendum on the Obama administration.
Yes.
This is a referendum on Obamacare. It's a referendum on Common Core education, intrusion into our children's education. It's a referendum on Agenda 21. And it's a referendum on a Nobel Peace Prize winning president who wants to force us into a war where we don't belong and cannot win. And I know where the American people stand. They stand against this assault And this is an assault on our liberty. That's what this is, folks. And that's what we're fighting for. And the whole country is going to be watching New Jersey on Wednesday, October 16th. They're going to watch New Jersey for a message. What does this country think of the Obama agenda? And it's only appropriate, it is only appropriate that the battle, because this election is a constitutional, is a pivotal moment for the United States Constitution and for the Bill of Rights.
Right.
And it is only appropriate that the battle for the future of our country that will set the tone for the next 20 years or more takes place right here in the state of New Jersey, the crossroads of the American Revolution. It's only appropriate that the battle comes here again. And it's going to be in every town, in every block, in every household from now until October 16th. We need to work hard. We need to remember what's at stake. A victory in New Jersey sends a powerful message across the entire country. And what is this election going to be like? Well, it's going to be different than any other election you've ever seen. We're going to throw out the campaign handbooks. We're going to not pay attention to what pollsters and pundits say. We're going to get out there. We know what we believe. And we're going to say what we think. And when we get to Washington, we're going to do what we say. And who is we? When I say we is the plumbers, the electricians, the carpenters, it's the store owners, it's the teachers. It are the small business people that build this economy. It is the engineers, it is in essence we the people. That's who we are. So let me tell you what the difference is between me and my opponent, Cory Booker. I know what I stand for. I know who I am. We don't know what Cory Booker stands for. We don't know where he stands on the war in Syria. He can't decide. He doesn't have enough information. We know where he stands on Obamacare. He says it's great. We have to implement it even faster. Here's what I believe in. I believe America is the greatest nation the world has ever seen. It is a nation built on a fundamental belief in individual liberty. The difference between me and Cory Booker is this. I believe in small business. My opponent believes in big government. I believe in free enterprise. My opponent believes in a bigger welfare state, more government spending, and more government debt.
That's right.
Do you know that in Newark, New Jersey, 43% of all the corporate subsidies in the state of New Jersey in the last 7 years of the Bush administration have gone to Newark? 43%. The city makes up 3% of the state's population. You know that Newark has the most expensive school district, one of the most expensive school districts in the nation? But despite getting 43%, hundreds of millions of dollars of corporate subsidies paid by suburban taxpayers, Newark had an average unemployment rate last year of 15%. Cory Booker is a failure. Despite one of the most expensive school districts in the United States of America, the dropout rate of Newark remains over 50%. Devastating to the generations of young people who will be left behind in poverty and crime because they couldn't finish school. And in Cory Booker's Newark, disturbingly enough, we saw yesterday the 10th murder in a row. Under Cory Booker, violent crime is up since the last year of Sharp James. Sharp James is a much worse mayor. Cory Booker is things are actually worse under Cory Booker than Sharp James. Crime is up, unemployment is up, spending is up, school dropout rates are up, and now Cory Booker wants to bring his failed agenda to the national level. He wants to do to America what he did to Newark. We cannot let that happen. I believe that it's the job of the federal government to defend us against our enemies and terrorists, not to spy on our friends, our neighbors, and our families. Cory Booker supports the NSA and supports the IRS assault on our freedom-loving fellow Americans. That's the difference. But most of all, ladies and gentlemen, I support the Bill of Rights, including strongly and forever the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. I will stand up for the rights of gun owners, the rights of every one of you to defend your lives, your family, and your property. My opponent will take away the guns of every American and disarm our country. We cannot let this happen. This election is the clearest line in the sand election between a Republican and a Democrat, but more important, between a conservative and a liberal this state has ever seen. New Jersey does not want left-wing liberal leadership. We're going to send that message on October 16th. But most of all, ladies and gentlemen, I can sum it up with this. I believe in a nation that was founded on the belief of limited government that unleashes the unlimited ability of every American to achieve and prosper. That's what's on the line on October 16th. We can derail the Obama agenda and begin to put America back on track, right here in the state of New Jersey. Now, what happens after the election? I get sworn in immediately. Because it's a special election, I will go to Washington, D.C. the day after, and I will meet with Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader, and he'll ask me who I would like to have as a freshman mentor, as a freshman senator. And I will offer two choices, Ted Cruz and Rand Paul. And I am proud to announce that on September 13th, Senator Rand Paul will come to New Jersey to campaign for Steve Lonergan. But we have the support of the entire Republican Party. I'm proud to announce that on September 19th, Governor Chris Christie himself will hold and lead a fundraiser as he campaigns for me across the state of New Jersey. Folks, we are united as one team because we know who the opposition is. And for once, we are all together in the fight for freedom. So I go down to Washington, D.C., and this is the best part. I get sworn in. Now, here's the protocol for being sworn in as a U.S. Senator in a special election. I will be escorted into the Senate chambers by the senior United States Senator from New Jersey, Bob Menendez. So, I look forward to the look on the face of Senator Menendez as we stroll hand in hand. And I place my hand on the Bible, and I will be your U.S. Senator. And for the first time since 1972, we will swear in a Republican conservative U.S. Senator for the state of New Jersey. Thank you, folks, for being here. God bless you. God bless America. Let's get out of that.
A few questions. We'll take a few questions if you got some. Right here, ma'am.
What can we do to help?
All right, there's three things: dollars, dials, and door knocks.
That's right.
We're raising money every day. I have fundraisers almost every night. You can host a fundraiser. You can donate to the campaign. The maximum contribution is $5,200, or whatever you can give. I am putting ads on Fox News during the day for $200 an ad. $200 buys an ad on Fox News. Wheel of Fortune is $3,000. Folks, we need to be on the air, and we will be. We will be. Dollars. Door knocks. Folks, we have an organized door-to-door campaign. This is hand-to-hand combat. This is what the fight for freedom is about. The willingness to take your time, your effort, knock on doors. My team will give you lists of the voters we need to reach. Not every house. We want to use your resources very skillfully. We've isolated the undecided voters that we need to reach out to, that we need to get out to the polls. So that's the door-to-door campaign. We have 40 days to do it. And then there's the phone calling system, which is ready to roll. But that election is going to end at 8 o'clock on the night of October 16th, whether we like it or not. It's the work, the sweat, and the effort that we put in between now and then that's going to change the course of history for the United States.
Here we are.
I'm from Belmar, and I got a special invitation for you from our only Republican on the council, Jim Bean. And I don't know if you know about the mayor was walking with Cory Booker on our boardwalk, making a big deal, and he kind of threw you under the bus, our loving mayor. And he said something about the element in town that wants to put a referendum on the ballot for the people to decide is kind of like using, what was it, the Lonergan kind of
Lonigan mentality.
Lonigan mentality.
Of letting the people vote, yeah.
Yeah, so Jim Beam has told me to ask you if you'd like to come to Belmar
Yes.
and walk with Jim Beam and any other Republicans.
Yes.
You have an open invitation.
Let's do
Anytime
it.
you want to come to Belmar, Jim will have the press
But
there.
let's see if we can do it this Saturday. Let's make
We
it
will
work.
have it.
Yeah.
We're having the same chair festival on Saturday.
Yes, let's see. I'm going to be going door to door in Ocean County. I'd like to shoot over from there to you guys, and we'll do that.
We'd love to
midday.
have you.
All right, so let's get that done. Yeah.
Mayor Lonigan,
Yes.
our big concern is how do we make sure they don't lie, steal, and cheat on October 16th?
Well, they're going to lie, steal, and cheat. We just can't let them get away with it, right? Well, we'll have lots of support from around the country. We'll make sure we have lawyers at the polls and security. So,
Good.
look, it's the war we have to fight. We just have to win.
That's right.
So, look, folks. If we get our vote out, if we get our base out, if we get the voters who turned out for Mitt Romney, if we get half of them, we win the election.
Amen. All right.
Oh, you're up.
Mayor Lonigan, I have a question for you. The Abbott districts are taking a lot of money from the major areas in New Jersey. What is your position as far as the Abbott districts go?
Well, look, the United States Senate does not influence what happens within the state other than my opinion like yours. However, I have always been an opponent of the Abbott school funding formula, and I stand for what's called the fair school funding formula, which I've campaigned on before, which would distribute the income tax equally on a per student basis. However, let's talk about what happens on the federal level. It's a little thing called Common Core Education Standard. This is the federal government inviting the way we educate our children, how we teach our kids, what they learn, how they learn it, how they'll be taught, as well as gathering massive amounts of information on every child. I intend to go to Washington, D.C., and I don't just intend to vote, but I intend to take a leadership role in defunding the Common Core Education Standard.
I just want to report that Democratic Freehold Borough Republicans, the committee is walking door to door for Lonigan with the bubble sheet.
Thank you, guys.
I think you should bring out the fact that Cory Booker is receiving a lot of campaign funds from out of state, specifically California and elsewhere.
Well, Cory Booker receives the majority of his campaign money from Hollywood elites, from Silicon Valley moguls, but you know what? Hollywood doesn't need a third senator. New Jersey needs our senator. We're raising our money in-state. We have people like you on the ground in-state. Cory Booker does not have the grassroots machine we have. Folks, what you're seeing right now is the reconstitution of the Tea Party movement and the fight for freedom that's built this country. And that's who's going to win this election. Not money from Oprah Winfrey or Matt Damon or Ben Affleck or whoever all these people are.
Two issues. Common Core, even some conservative news media is not telling the real threat of Common Core.
I know.
They're talking about English and math.
Okay.
These are nebulous issues. Wait till they get into
Yep.
social studies and history. I have
Yep.
been a social
Well, they
studies
want to
teacher.
rewrite the way we
This
teach
is
our
going to be very dangerous stuff. Second thing, you talk about, well, all right, I'll ask you.
Okay. Folks, I want to thank you. As you know, I have an entire state to cover, and we only have 40 days left to do it. I have to ask you, when this meeting's over, that it doesn't stop here. That you take those walk lists, you make those phone calls, you write those checks, you help raise money. I have to raise about $1 million in the next 6 weeks.
All right.
That's
Right?
it?
That's about it. Yeah, that's about it. And I intend to do it. Folks, I'm going to guarantee, I'm going to work hard, nonstop for the next 40 days. But once elected, I'm going to work even harder in Washington. So thank you for having me, and I'm going to head up to Garfield. Thank you.
I think the mayor gets it, we're enthusiastic, and we are going to go out and fight for this man. We have an opportunity to get a good man in Senate. Be there Saturday, you can walk with him. Folks, the meeting's not over yet, so hold on. There are lawn signs.
Oh, there are.
Folks, hello? Folks, we have lawn signs.
Great. I'm doing it.
Okay, great. What?
Tap on the map. Right, get the...
Okay. Hello? So, now we have a few more minutes, and again, every month we stipulate this. This is not my tea party, it's not Robert's, although he acts like it is.
Don't forget it.
And it's not even Dan's, it's your tea party. So, if you have, we have some time left. If you have any ideas or suggestions how we could run a better meeting, run a better organization, how we could attract new members, your ideas count, so come on up. We'll start with John, who does have some very bad news to tell us.
Again?
Again. It's going to put a damper on you all, I know, I'm sorry. John's sorry, he's the bearer of bad news. John, make it short because I don't want to see a river of tears going down.
Okay. And stop smiling.
As I started to say before, I don't know that any of you remember, but Congressman Charles Rangel referred to us as white crackers.
And proud of it.
And I wrote a letter to him, inviting him to come down and see what the Tea Party was like. And unfortunately, I never heard back from him. So, but I'm gonna keep it up. I did send a copy of it to O'Reilly and Hannity. I also sent it to the, hoping that the New York Post would print it, and I'll just keep it on because I'd like him to come down just maybe mix with you guys. Maybe somebody will buy him a beer. I'll buy him a beer.
Maybe you'll help us get on it. Maybe you'll help us get on it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. That's the good news.
Bad news, bad news. Remember, we're not. Okay, the floor is open. I'm going to go over again. Whoever wants to come on up, come up. But I'm going to go over again. If you're having difficulty getting online to register and pay for this rally September 10th, please see Dan, because Dan is the computer whiz. We'll take a check right now to Dan or to Steve, but you cannot, you have to register online. So anybody who's having problems doing that, see Dan. Come on up.
I don't know how many people have called their senators and congressmen about this Syria thing, but I called Runyon's office yesterday, and I asked him, what's his position? He said, well, he's got a statement here. Let me read it to you. And she read it to me, and she started going on, and all of a sudden she said, oh, first of all, she said he hadn't made a decision. All of a sudden she said, he thinks that it's in the nation's interest. And I'm like, wait a minute, you know? So he hasn't said anything, but just listening to that statement, she said, no, he hasn't made it. He's trying to put this thing in. And I talked to Senator Chiesa today and Menendez, you know, their offices, and Chiesa's, they said it was like 450 to 5, because I asked them, what's the, how many people are for it and how many against? They said 450 against and 5 are for it. But what I said to Chiesa is I said, I want you, and I said this to Menendez too, I want you guys to make it a declaration of war. A yes or no vote. Because if you're sending missiles into Syria, you are attacking another country. If Russia was bombing us, because we used to have chemical weapons, we still do. We haven't destroyed them all. We're not going to use them. They haven't burned them all up yet. But if Russia was to say, hey, we're going to shoot missiles into your country, what would we think? What kind of message are we sending to Syria and the Mideast by shooting missiles into a country? And Obama even said the objective is not to get rid of Assad.
Right.
Well, what is it? Is it that the U.S. are terrorists? It's time that we stopped it. I told them, you know, before they send one missile, spend one dime on a missile, we've got to balance our budget. We've got to cut spending. And until they balance the budget, I don't want to see one damn missile in.
That's right.
And this is a war, whether we send a missile in or whether it's no boots on the thing. Sending one missile is a declaration of war, and I want a yes and no vote on that. Because if we do that, I'll guarantee you Congress will get away from it. All right, thanks.
I'm sorry, I don't ever mean to cut anybody off, but we're so short on time, so. The Reverend is selling bumper stickers. Reverend, $4 a bumper sticker. Chris, you want to come up? So it's a magnet, which is even better. Impeach Obama, $4. Okay? See the Reverend. Chris?
We gotta use the mic, huh? Okay. I'm not as good a speaker as some of the speakers you have here tonight, Steve, Reverend, everybody here. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I know Steve was excited to see you all, hear from you all, answer your questions. The most important thing for us going forward, in case you don't know, first off, I'm the Regional Central Jersey Field Director for Steve Lonergan for the U.S. Senate. So if you need anything at all, lawn signs, campaign literature, walk books, I'm the person to talk to.
What is your name again? I'm sorry.
Chris Santor. I have business cards with me. Connie back there in the pink has my contact information. So she knows I get in touch with me. I talk to her a couple times a week. Biggest thing we can do to get Steve into office is knock doors and make phone calls. If anybody's willing to do that, please see me, because that is our biggest need. I do have some lawn signs in the back for you all to take when you leave here tonight. There's some literature going around. I have more at the office.
Well, I guess we should just take.
We will be bringing supplies down on a weekly, bi-weekly basis depending on what is needed. There's always going to be a supply also at the county headquarters for you just to go in, get it, and leave. If for some reason there isn't any, let me know and I will bring it to you. Once again, thank you all for coming out, and if you are willing to, once again, knock doors for us or make phone calls, those are the two biggest things we can do to win this race. Please see me after, and we'll sign you up and we'll get you walk books and we'll get going. In case you don't know, we have two big walks going this weekend. We're doing Monmouth County and Ocean. Monmouth, we're meeting in Freehold at the outside the GOP headquarters at 9:15. Steve will be there at 9:30 for a half hour, and then we're going to send everyone out knocking doors. For those of you who don't like to knock doors and live in Monmouth or in that section of Monmouth County, we will send you home with phone books so you can make phone calls for us. The phones do not come up with your home cell phone number. It comes up with our office number, so don't worry about, you don't want people to see your number. It comes up as our office number. If you're closer to the Toms River area, we're meeting outside the GOP headquarters in Toms River at 10:15. Steve will be arriving between 10:15 and 10:30. Same thing, Steve's going to do a little talk, a little rally, and then we're going to go hit the streets and walk in Toms River. If you are there, please stop by. We'd love to have you. Additionally, if you do not feel like going door to door in that area, we'll send you home, and you can, if you'll make phone calls for us, that would be excellent, because that's another way for us to get voter contact. We understand some people don't like going door to door. Phone calls might be a little bit easier for you. The last thing I'm going to ask is, because you are the folks on the ground. I live in Monmouth County, I'm local, but you all live in your individual towns. If there are events coming up that you would like me to try and get Steve to within the next 41 days, that's right, 41 more days, and that's it. We got 41 days to do this. let me know, so I can put it on the schedule. And
Pleasant Beach Seafood Festival.
if you email it to me, I know you're all gonna come up with me all these ideas. If you email it to me, I'll get it on the schedule, and then I can let you know if it's gonna happen. Scheduling usually gets decided the day of the event, so if you call me the night before saying, is he coming? 50-50 chance I'll let you know. Most of the time, we know the day of. Is there any questions I can answer? Yes, ma'am. Yes.
What is the address specifically of the Freehold?
It is 2 Monmouth Street in Freehold. 2 Monmouth.
It's in the borough.
Not that, you can also go on their website, and it's posted on the website, but it's 2 Monmouth. Yes, ma'am.
Steve said he was going to come to Belmar on Saturday, and with that San Gennaro thing.
Right.
If you get a time, can you let Joella know so we can be there, because more of us will be better.
Okay. The question was, is Steve definitely going to be in Belmar Saturday? I know he said he would. I will do my best. It is on the schedule. I actually heard about that event, San Gennaro Festival, believe it or not, on 101.5 this morning. So I called and had it put onto the schedule. I know we're going to be in Ocean County, so that's why I figured that would be a good thing for him to stop by. It's on the schedule right now. I can't guarantee anything because, as you all know, things change in politics at a drop of a hat. So, as of right now, Steve committed to being there. Could things change between now and then? They do, and if it does, I apologize on behalf of the campaign. But as of right now, it is on the schedule, and I will let you know. I don't want to guarantee something and then something come up and they have to change schedules.
But if you give us the time when
I definitely will. It would be after probably 12 because he's going to go, I think he's going down to the Pirate Day. He's doing Tom's River Family Picnic, I think, and then the Pirate thing down in Bayville. I think something like that. I can't even keep track, but something like that. Yes.
I had to talk to people for this. Senator Cruz and
Yes.
will the public be invited to
The question was asked about the Rand Paul event. If Cruz, I don't know, we don't have a definite date as far as I'm aware of at this point. For the Rand Paul event, for anybody that is interested in attending, Rand Paul, it is 2 weeks from Friday up in Clark. You can go to our campaign website, LoniganForSenate.com. You click under the events section and you can register there. There is it's in Clark, up in Union County. I don't know the exact, I don't remember the exact place. There's a there's a fundraiser and then there's a rally. So, I know for $250, if you're interested, you can get a photo with the senator and Steve, private, and then you can go to the rally afterwards, which is going to be in the same location. If you just want to attend the rally, you're more than welcome to do that as well.
That's Friday the 13th. But Rand Paul's going to be there.
Friday the 13th. Wow. Okay. Any other questions I can answer for anybody? Yes.
If you go to the East Jersey Tea Party Facebook page and announce where you're going to be, a lot of people will wind up seeing it on the group page there.
Okay. Unfortunately, I am not allowed as a campaign person to go and request you to put stuff on your Facebook page because that's coordination, that's violation of FEC violations. That means we're working against collusion. That's against the law. If you happen to go to our campaign website and see something and then put it up without me knowing it, that's okay. I can't solicit somebody else to put something on about the campaign on the website because then we have to pay you for that service.
We'll find it.
Where? I don't know the answer if where he's going to be on the 10th. Any other questions about the campaign? Yes. And I have some business cards. I'll give you some business cards before I leave. Let's see a show of hands. Anybody here interested in going door to door for us? All right. There we go. There we go. I'll sign you up. Anybody here interested in making phone calls from home? Really easy to do. All right, we got one, we got a couple. There we go. Come on, we can do better than a couple, guys. We got to make sure Steve gets in. So, Glad you turned out. Let's make sure we all sign up. If you don't want to sign up with me tonight, go to the campaign website, sign up under volunteer section, and you will be getting a phone call from me within 48 hours saying, thank you for signing up. How can I get you the information to go door to door making phone calls for us? Yes, ma'am.
With Rand Paul, that's Friday the 13th.
Yes, I believe it is an 11 o'clock fundraiser, and then the rally's at noon. I believe that's the time. Don't quote me on it, but I think that you can read. Yeah.
It's on 4040 Madison Hill Road.
440 Madison Hill Road in Clark. Yep.
Would you please put me on TV?
There you go.
No, there, I'm showing you.
Oh, I thought you wanted. You can read it.
It's, okay, it's Friday, September 13th, 12 to 1, 440 Madison Hill Road in Clark, and I had to register. And, see?
Yep. Yes, we do have a registration page on our website, so you can register to go.
They just want to know how many.
We want to know the count. Right now, I think we're up to 450 people that are attending the rally. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a Twitter campaign going like EJTP did? Very powerful.
We do have a Twitter campaign. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, which is probably bad, but if you go to the campaign website, you'll see the link for the Twitter page.
EJTP people had a Twitter army.
We do have a Twitter page, and if you are a Twitter person, you can sign up or let me know, and we will get you signed up on the campaign, and you can Twitter on the campaign Twitter website. So there's lots of ways to get involved, folks. Thank you all very much. I'll be hanging out for a little bit. There are some lawn signs in the back if you'd like to take some, and let me know if you need anything. I will get it to you. Thank you all very much.
Listen, folks, if we don't get out there and work for Mayor Lonigan, who's going to do it? So please, you can make phone calls at home, you can do the knocking on the door, you can go to the various events, but please get out there and get this man elected. I'm begging you. I'm begging. I'd like to die with the conservative Republican senator in the House. Done. Let's all get up and do our monthly tribute.
Everybody.
I can see where this is going.